Now, the topics we just covered helped challenge the assumptions of justice, diversity, and inclusion. And I argue that all kinds of decision makers, whether they're urban practitioners, politicians, philanthropists, civil servants, and young people, can all have a bigger impact where they include accessibility into their work. But what really is accessibility? Accessibility refers to the feature or quality of any physical or virtual environment or space. It also includes facilities or services that are capable of accommodating the needs of a wide variety of users. Users that might have certain kinds of challenges. But really, ultimately, it provides the ability for that individual to interact with that product, service, program without any barriers. In this section, we'll come to understand how to leverage accessibility to make a better app, build a better park, launch a new product, program, or service, and design buildings, or maybe even entire cities that leave no one behind. There's two basic terms that we're going to cover. One is accessibility, and the other is universal design. What are the various types of accessibility? And what are the consequences when we don't pay attention to accessibility? Wouldn't you want your customers, clients, or fellow citizens to think, wow, this was made for me? Or I belong here. Or I can't wait to tell everybody about this great product or service. You get my point. Nobody sets out to design an inaccessible product or accessible city on purpose. Nobody wants to purposefully leave customers out. It would affect your bottom line. Rarely, though, do people take the time to understand how to build in accessibility. But really what we're talking about is a cross-cutting issue that allow people to live and fully participate and enjoy services. It's an issue of human rights, but it's also affects economic, social development, and the realization of these technical standards, how we ensure that these standards are met, really influence the way that we build these products and services. So what can we do about this? How do we tackle this? Well, there's public spaces that includes buildings such as roads, schools, infrastructure, right? Tourist places, parks. There's digital infrastructure, websites, apps, kiosks. There's ways that we engage with the world where we might actually have a failure in the way we engage. So how can we design better? How can we ensure that people will follow the rules? Well, in some countries, you can be fined or taken to court. You could be sued, and the consequences are just financial. There's bad publicity. There's frustrating your customers, or your employees, or your constituents. You're really falling short on what's expected of you. I think ultimately by diving in deeper and looking at some of what these standards are, you'll be able to build those websites to be more accessible. You'll be able to build those products in a way that you'll forge a lifetime of loyalty from your customers. You'll be able to get reelected. You'll be able to get a bigger impact. You'll be able to do more. In your city, accessibility is critical to enabling up to 20% of the population to fully enjoy every aspect of the city. Now, when you couple that with mobility options, it opens new horizons for employment. It even improves people's outcomes, education outcomes, health outcomes. And you convert on somebody from being seen as a liability to as a tax spender, to a taxpayer, somebody that's generating value. So accessibility is really important to push up our economic production and our innovation and our ability to really meet the needs of everyone. We have learned about the significance of creating accessible environments. Now, these will not only enable people, but it really makes us proud when our cities and our spaces and our companies or our schools really meet the highest standards. We want accessibility to be not the lowest common denominator, but really the race towards excellence. Because my friend, the commissioner for the mayor's office of the city of New York, Victor Calisi, says, we want to race to the top. So I think collectively we can see accessibility as a public good, as a central component of good policies, good plans, and good citizenship. It ultimately is what makes better, more vibrant cities, more vibrant spaces, more innovative companies, more competitive places to work. There's a wide variety of beauty in the way that these principles can be brought into practice. I mean, wouldn't you want it for yourself if you were ever to use it? Let's consider that this is an issue that affects us all. In our lifetimes, we'll all experience this or be touched by it. So let's, even in our own enlightened self-interest, ensure that we put a priority on accessibility and ensure that we do the best that we can to create products that delight, that respond to people's needs, and that allow us all to contribute our talents and not be excluded. Thank you very much.